Well, it's that time of year again. Time for me to give you my silly season predictions for the upcoming season. The one thing unique about this season's silly season is that the next gen car is going to come out next year, so kind of a leveling of a playing field and a lame duck for some of these guys. First, let's look at the things that have already been confirmed. Austin Cindric has been confirmed to go to the Wood Brothers for next season. That was confirmed way back when Matt DiBenedetto signed a one-year extension last, I believe, September. So Cindric will race for the historic Wood Brothers Racing next season, and Matt DiBenedetto was already a free agent before the season even began. In addition, Colleague Racing purchased 2 charters from Spire, one the 77 car, and the other the charter that is being leased to Trackhouse for this season. Spire will continue to field the number 7 car with Corey LaJoie next year. Justin Haley will drive one of the cars full-time next year, and AJ Allmendinger has been announced to race some races for the team as well. Another huge move is that Trackhouse Racing acquired Chip Ganassi Racing. They purchased all of it, including its 2 charters and all its cars. And whatever, all of the cars really don't make a difference, just really all the equipment as well. And Suarez will race one of the full-time cars, and we don't know who's going to race the other full-time car yet. And while at the time I am recording this, Brad Keselowski to Roush has not been confirmed. It is all but confirmed that Keselowski will have a major stake in Roush Fenway Racing, now renamed to Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. And I believe he will drive the number 6 car, as well as Chris Buescher staying in the 17. So with that all out of the way, let's get down to some predictions. The first thing we have to look at is the charter first agreed upon before the 2016 season. 36 charters guarantee a spot in every NASCAR Cup Series race, but NASCAR is not making more of them even when there's more suitors. So who would want to purchase them? Another new team that is looking to expand to 2 cars next year is 2311 Racing, but Denny Hamlin, co-owner, didn't seem too interested that a charter would be necessary, as he's not too confident that the charter system will stay around for a while, so they will probably run that with or without a charter, likely the number 32 car, and Kurt Busch has been rumored to race that. JTG currently fields the 37 car without a charter. They used to have one, but they don't have the 37 anymore. As a charter team, they are still racing every race with it, and I'm sure they would prefer to have a charter. GMS Racing is also looking to come to the Cup Series, and I'm sure they would like one. Another team that maybe has kind of dreams of it, but doesn't sound to be too much of a hurry to want to do it, is Junior Motorsports. Dale Earnhardt Jr. said it's really hard to get a charter and would only go racing in the Cup Series if he had a charter, and does not think it's likely. But he also said that this would be the only year to do it, as the next gen car debuts next year. NBM Motorsports tried to purchase one last year but could not, so they may try again this year. And there could be someone interested in purchasing one that we just don't know about. But who would want to sell one of these coveted charters? First off, Rick Ware Racing plans to only run 2 or 3 full-time cars next year. What a sigh of relief that would be to see one of them give up one of their charters. But I don't know of any other rumors of teams wanting to sell one of their charters. But my prediction is that Junior Motorsports will buy one of Rick Ware charters, and Rick Ware Racing will lease one to GMS. I think that Rick Ware will just kind of ease off the gas a little bit with the next gen car, sell one of them, and then just lease one out for a year. I do think Junior Motorsports will try to get one simply because they have so many. Dale Jr. has so many fans, and I think that would be really good for the sport if Dale Jr. owned a team and was competitive. I don't think NBM has the funding to purchase a charter. I know they had a sponsor signed on last year. And then 2311 Racing, they don't sound too interested in desiring a charter. And then JTG Daugherty Racing hasn't had much of a problem without a charter this year, so I don't think they see the value in having another one for Priest, especially when it costs a lot of money to get one. Some are valued out to up to $10 million. Now let's talk about some drivers. Kurt Busch currently drives the number 1 car for Chip Ganassi Racing, but now they will be purchased by Trackhouse, and he is a top candidate to drive the other Trackhouse car along with Ross Chastain. But even before the announcement was made, he was rumored to drive the number 32 car for 2311 Racing next year. No one has rumored this, but it is possible that he could have a reunion with Penske, but I doubt it's likely. Brad Keselowski is likely going to have a large ownership role in Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing next year and would drive the number 6 car with Chris Buescher. That leaves the 2 car open. That would lead Ryan Newman to be without a ride, and he hasn't been very impressive really ever since his crash, and he may retire. Eric Almirola has been very disappointing this year, and that's really an understatement. A lot of it does have to do with bad luck and a lot of lack of speed with the Stuart Haas cars, and he still has a lot of sponsorship from Smithfield. Well, it is scaled back to 25 races this year, and will probably be scaled back even more next year. They'll still probably have about a half the schedule sponsored, and that's huge. With Austin Cindric going to the 21 car next year, where will Matt Benedetto go? A lot of people are saying that he may go to the Penske number 2 car, but does he really deserve that? In addition, some are saying that plans may be fluid with Cindric going to the 21 car, and he may just go to the 2, and Benedetto may just stay in the 21 car. Ryan Preece's performances the last couple of years in the 37 have been pretty lackluster, so he may get booed from that ride. And while sponsorship may not be that much of an issue, it's not tied to Preece, it's tied to the team. Ross Chastain will be alright with Chip Ganassi Racing being sold, and one likely suitor is Trackhouse. Eric Jones signed a multi-year deal with Richard Petty Motorsports, but Richard Petty Motorsports has a team option for that year. But the thing I want to hit on is that Richard Petty Motorsports has been rumored to move over to Toyota, and it would be the perfect time to change with the next gen car. With potential new teams, who would drive those cars? GMS Racing only runs the Truck Series right now, and none of their drivers are really ready for Cup Series action, so I doubt they'd send one of them. It would be unwise to do so. If they still had Brett Moffitt on their team, he would be perfect, but they had some sort of fallout at the end of last season. For Junior Motorsports, you have a couple of veterans such as Justin Allgaier and Michael Annett who have Cup Series experience, so they maybe want to come up. Noah Gragson has been in the Xfinity Series for a while, and Junior does seem to like Josh Berry. 2311 Racing has been rumored to sign Kurt Busch, but they could also go for someone in the pipeline, such as John Nemechek, who's tearing up the Truck Series and race full-time in 2020. Or Harrison Burton, who's been in Xfinity Series for 2 years now. Hemrick has Cup experience. So there's a lot of different players who could come up from some of the lower ranks into Cup. Those are all the really big names with key parts to play in silly season. Now it's solving time, boys. So beginning with the 2022 Daytona 500, these are the 39 cars that I expect to compete every race. First of all, you have Colleague Racing's first entry, I think, will be the number 1. Of course, they have the number 16. That's the entry they've run in most of the Cup races, so they have the 16. But then they have the 1 will be the other car, because in Xfinity they have the 16, the 10, the 11. A lot of people are saying 61, but I'm going to guess number 1. And that will be split between Kaz Grala and AJ Allmendinger. Then Austin Cindric goes to the number 2 car. Very recently, Team Penske was asked whether or not Cindric might go to the 2, and he said, "We don't know for sure yet, and there really isn't a better fit to drive the number 2 car." Brad Keselowski goes over to 6 and becomes a partial owner of Roush. This is already confirmed, but not the car number. I think just he will race the 16 full-time, and the Benedetto returns for a 3rd straight season for Wood Brothers. GMS will enter the number 26 car, and I think that'll be driven by Ty Dillon. Yes, it's kind of a wild card, but remember, he was in the Cup Series up until this year full-time, and I think he'll come back. Kurt Busch moves over to 2311 Racing, partial teammates kind of with his brother. And then Daniel Hemrick moves up to the Cup and replaces Ryan Preece in the 37 car. You see Eric Jones, but he'll be a Toyota next year. Justin Allgaier races Junior Motorsports' first ever entry in the 88. I mean, there is a better number. And then maybe I'm optimistic about this, but Ross Chastain will race Trackhouse's next car, and that will be the 98. That's what I'm optimistic about. And then Chastain, I think, just moves right over and will actually do better. And then you have Ryan Newman, who retires, but kind of a forced retirement. And then Ryan Preece will pull a John Hunter Nemechek and go down to the Truck Series or maybe even Xfinity Series, and will light it up to try to relaunch his career. So that is all. If I missed anyone or anything, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll tell you my prediction for that specific instance. But thank you so much for watching, and if you have reached the end of this video, make sure that you do leave a like. That will show a lot of support. It took a lot of time and effort to make. And let me know in the comment section down below what your silly season predictions are.